Oh, preparing live stream. Excellent.
Yep, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right.
Yeah, it says it's being sent. That's fantastic.
Yep, let me make sure I'm recording. That's the
Yeah,
piece here.
recorded and live streaming. Welcome, everyone.
Okay.
Mhm. My name is Missy Shipman with Missy's Glad Heart Studio, and I'm so delighted to partner with Julia at the Baldwin Hill Public Library to bring to you our monthly card making class. Today is September 11th, 2025. Never before has there ever been, nor will there ever be, a day quite like this one. I hope you had a great day. I enjoyed time with my parents and with my older son. And it was a beautiful day for a drive to Cuca Lake and to uh, have great time in the car with my son. We have some fun projects for us to do together tonight, and there's some flexibility with how you put together the supplies. So I want to make sure you know about options before you start gluing, of course. But before I jump into our projects, I want to share with you a special project that will be available for World Card Making Day in October. On October 4th is National World, or not National, World Card Making Day. It's a real holiday made up not just by Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, but by crafters around the world. And this year, it's featuring a special kit that includes materials to make this desk organizer. And I've put some postage stamps here, and I have a pen and my paper snips. And what's great about this kit is it creates this special desktop holder, which is a nice heavyweight chipboard and decorative paper. And then it also makes 10 cards to each of these 5 designs. And they're really great neutral colors, navies, blues, light pinks, cream, and something kind of for all the occasions. The stamp set has thinking of you, thanks so much, wishing you the best, happy birthday, and hello, sunshine. So those are some great greetings for our this special kit. This I will have to display tomorrow at our Let's Kit Together at the library, but I won't actually have the kits available until my event on October 4th. So if you're interested in learning more about that, it's a fundraiser for ALS and it's a celebration of World Card Making Day. And I'd love to give you more information about that. But for tonight's class, you each picked up at the library, if you picked up the materials, you picked up a gift bag like this. Welcome, Kathy. We're glad you're here. Uh, and this is ready to decorate. We're going to use some supplies tonight to make this a wonderful package, perhaps for a birthday gift or a thank you gift, or just thinking of you neighbor present. So that's going to be one of our projects tonight. You can see here I've decorated it 2 different ways. The designer series paper that we're using is actually two-sided, with one side being these multicolored geometric patterns, and the other being the sharp black and white patterns, which are really fun. So we've used this paper before at the library. Tonight we'll be using it to decorate a gift bag. But we're going to start with a different project. This is a simple project made with a kit called Bunch of Thanks. And this you'll find in your white bag. It's an envelope that has some flowers printed on it. So that gives you a hint of what's inside. And this kit makes just sweet little gift enclosures. So it also comes with the envelopes. So you could put this and mail it. You can mail this card right with regular postage, but it also could be used as a little gift enclosure with some live flowers that you might pass on to a neighbor, or a cookie tray or a gift card, something like that. So it's very simple. We're just going to do a little bit of stamping on the project today. And then I've added a little bit of bling because I know we all enjoy some sparkle. So for this one, you'll find the one that has the flower on the envelope, and take that out. And the greetings for this one are lovely, grateful greetings. It says, thank you for your love and support, or thanks a bunch, of course, with a bunch of flowers, that's appropriate, or so very grateful. So there's 2 places where we can put our greeting. And if you don't have a stamp set that has an appropriate greeting for the card you wish to make tonight, I suggest you handwrite a little message inside, or there's room for you to write a longer message, but even if on the tag you just want to write happy birthday or thinking of you or so glad you're my friend, especially I love receiving things with the recipient's handwriting on them. I think that's extra special in a day where we do a lot of texting, a lot of email messages. The personal touch of a handwritten note or handwritten envelope is a special treat, especially it's from when it's from someone that you love and really treasure their friendship. So you could simply write your message here.
Yep, I wanted to mention too that
Uh-huh.
library still has a whole bunch of stamps in
Oh, terrific.
our basement stairwell that people can borrow if they come and talk to me. Um,
Excellent.
I've had
So
somebody
there,
come in and they brought in some stamps and they came and asked if they could pick some to take back and exchange, and that worked great.
super, very, very good. Well, yes, I'll speak to that. There are many, many beautiful stamp sets, including lots of sentiment stamps, which is what we call the stamps that have the nice greetings on them, ready to add to your cards or your scrapbook pages or whatever card making supplies you have. So please know that that's a great resource we have right at our library. I'm going to be using the color Mossy Meadow. And we're using that for a couple of our projects tonight, but we're going to add a simple greeting to the little bit of tag here. So very grateful. This is a font I enjoy because it has two fonts actually. It has the block letter, so very, and then the scripty grateful, which that script is a little bit whimsical. I really like that combination of fonts. So many of my favorite sentiments include two fonts. I love when we kind of put together a different style that's contrasting and yet really complements itself. So then on the inside, I'm going to put the greeting that says, for your love and support. So on the outside, the tag says, so very grateful. And on the inside, I'm going to put for your love and support. Now, a trick when using the photopolymer stamps, you'll see I started to just put it down on my block like this, but photopolymers are very flexible. And by design, that's really fun. So you can make an arc. It could be an arc impression of for your love and support. Or if I want it straight though, the trick is to lay it down on a piece of paper. Here I have a grid paper so I can be sure I'm nice and straight. And then when I place my block on top, I'm not stretching that stamp to distort it. It's going to be nice and straight. So then I'm going to put for your love and support right here on the inside of the card. So when the recipient opens that, it'll have so very grateful. And then on the inside for your love and support. And then there's room to do a little bit of more of personal message. So this is simple. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to add a little bit of twine here, wrap it around and tie it. Now, some people are shy about bows or knots. You certainly don't have to use the twine. You could anchor this with a little bit of adhesive, but the idea is that people can just untie that or slide it off to open up the greeting. And then the so very grateful will tuck in here too. This one I'm actually going to anchor with a dimensional, a Stampin' Dimensional, so it's going to have a little bit of height here. I'm just going to attach it to that, tuck it in, and then attach it here. So when someone opens it, it's a little bit of a puzzle. They're going to flip and then see the message for your love and support. So you can fiddle with that, how you like to close it up. There's really lots of possibilities. But I did also include this coordinating piece. It's designed, let's open it up again. I forgot about this. We're going to add this coordinating piece so that it just has some extra flowers touching and growing out in the bouquet, and they'll be popped up. So it's going to add a little bit more visual interest, some more texture to the card. And go ahead and just pop that up with some dimensionals. If you don't have dimensionals, you'll notice in your kit tonight, you got a handy Elmer's school glue stick, and that works for many projects. But you all know how much I enjoy the dimensionals. So this is printed so that it will layer right on top. And do you see how it just bumps up that red flower that's underneath? I'm actually going to put it so that it's not right on top because I like the positioning of this. And I feel like it adds even more depth where the red is on top of the yellow, the blue's on top of the orange. Again, you can fiddle with pieces and parts however you like. That's a fun thing about our kit each month is you can use the materials to make the projects as I've designed, or you can mix and match with items from your stash. Come to the library and pick up a past kit of goodies, and you can watch the recordings on the YouTube channel. The Baldwinsville Public Library, New York YouTube channel has our playlist of over 60 different months that you can join us here at the library Zoom. Those little, almost like dewdrops on the flower here, I think add a nice little bit of sparkle. And then it's ready to tuck into our envelope. Now, some people I've seen come up with some fun ideas for using this particular kit and making them into cards or full cards, or adding them to scrapbook pages, or making them as favors for a party. So it doesn't have to be just something that you mail. But oh, Julia's got hers ready. That looks beautiful, Julia.
I tucked it in exactly upside down. Oh,
Perfect, perfect. Nature's garden is often upside down or sideways, right?
it doesn't
Very
look
good.
upside down. It looks great.
It looks great. Very good. So have fun with those little pieces and parts. That's a simple project, just one for assembly without a lot of stamping. But remember that you can borrow stamps from the library, or use markers or pens from your home. Also, when I'm at the library on those Friday mornings, I typically bring some supplies that you could use there if you stopped in either for our Let's Get Together class or just to say hello, that you could add to the night's projects. Okay, next let's go ahead and make our gift bag here. And this is a fun project that we're going to set aside this beautiful artwork card. Yours is maybe going to have a different artwork design, and they're called gallery blooms, and we'll get to that one last. But next we're going to decorate the bag. So you have a piece of tissue paper. And tissue paper like this is fun to stamp on and decorate too, to add texture to it. So if you had a stamp of a big flower or a big star, or any kind of stamps, you can make a repetitive pattern on your tissue. And these are kits that I made for kids at the YMCA camp this summer. I had 157 students over 2 days. I enjoy being the local artisan. Each summer, I get to be a guest at the YMCA camps here in Baldwinsville. And so the kids each received this goodie bag of pieces and parts. It had the tissue paper and the white gift bag. And then inside, you'll find 12 pieces of designer series paper. Here's the side I showed you earlier with the bold black and white patterns. That's what I use to decorate this surface. And then on the other side are these brightly colored geometric patterns, which are so much fun. Now, what I said to the kids, and I'll remind you as well, that you can use the supplies any way you like. So do you think it would be okay if you mixed and matched and had some black and white and some colors? Of course, you can do it any way that you like. So take time to kind of explore the patterns and see what you think. One idea, if you want to make this less of a birthday party bag and more of a fall or Halloween bag, if you do all black and white, you can use markers to color in the leaves with the fall colors, color in the flowers or the stripes here, and add maybe greens and purples and oranges to make a Halloween gift bag. So the choice is yours. Also in the kit are some stickers. Students love stickers at the Y. And so this is just a rainbow dot pack. You could make it like the Very Hungry Caterpillar. You could make a geometric pattern. This you're welcome to add to your bag or to use for another project. And then this ladybug, I hope you'll love how this has this like a crystal effects on top, so it's nice and shiny, and these little beaded and wired antenna and glittery flowers. So I liked adding them right to my birthday party bag. This I think is a party bag that could be any time of year, even though it's those bright spring and summery colors. I think birthday parties welcome rainbow colors all year round. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to create this quilt-like pattern on my bag. Kids at the Y had all kinds of wonderful ideas. They always come up with a lot better ideas than I do. I enjoy very much their creativity. Children tend to be a little less inhibited when they're working with art supplies, and just kind of go for it and have a great time exploring. So I give you all full permission to just be a kid tonight with your glue stick and your papers and put this together however you fancy. I am going to do a little mix and match with the black and white tonight just for fun. So I like to kind of make out a pattern before I put it on to glue it onto my bag. So I know I'm going to make a grid that is something like 3 by 4, okay? And I'm going to have some of them black and white, but my favorite ones I want to still make sure are the bright colors. Like I love, this reminds me of fruit stripe gum. Remember the zebra first fruit stripe gum? That makes me laugh thinking about that. Here's another great black and white one.
Could I
How
see
about
what it
that?
looks like when the scales are turned the other way up?
This one?
Yes.
Yes.
Want to
So
see?
this one is cool. It can be like the scales of a mermaid,
Yeah.
or it can be kind of like mountains or a
Great.
pile of candy there.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sure, sure. So I'm just going to switch a little bit around because I want a little more of the brightness up at the top. I'm going to kind of fiddle till it's the way that I like it exactly. And again, there's no right or wrong way. You're just having fun making a quilt pattern here. This one, I'm going to keep the pattern of the blacks and whites. Maybe that one there like that. Okay. And this is a little heavy over here. This is how if you're a quilter and you do fabric arts, you might be like me and always kind of, you lay out your pattern and then you fiddle till it's the way you like. So, but there's no right or wrong here. It's just fun for you to play. Then we'll take our glue stick, and there's going to be a bit of a border at the top of my white bag. Here, I'll put the green there so you can see a little bit border at the top and a little border at the bottom. Or you can make, a different quilt pattern. You can just make stripes. It's up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and place these so that it makes a quilt pattern with just a little bit of white in between. And because I'm doing this one black and white, we'll have 3 samples you can look at. One is all of the color size, the multicolors. The other is all the bold black and white patterns. And then the one I'm making tonight will be a mix of those patterns. I really love all of the colorful ones, but I do think the black and white is a cool modern look to include those. So I'm just placing them so there's a little bit border of white between them. And this glue stick is a great adhesive for people of all ages because it's a washable glue, and it does adhere quite well if you give a good amount of pressure. It's not great if you just scribble a little bit and then uh, sort of place it and move on really quickly. You want to instead put it where you want and then give it some love here. Push it down and help it bond. Help the glue grip the paper, both papers to bond. There we are. I love this green. Granny apple green color is one of my personal favorites. It's a bright, cheerful springtime green. But like I said, I think a gift bag like this is a welcome gift any time of the year. And be thinking about what you might put inside it. As you know, I like to gift cards that I make. So cards fit nicely in their envelope, will fit right into this gift bag very nicely. I like to gift tea, individually wrapped tea bags, or a full box of tea, but usually I gift an assortment of a variety of teas. That would fit nicely in here. It's a pretty sturdy bag, so you could put a candle or some cookies that you make, something that has some weight will still work because the bag is pretty sturdy. And there we have our last square. So I'm going to go ahead and add my ladybug. I think the ladybug works nicely both on any of these because the ladybug has some black in it. I think it would look really dramatic with the black and white. I love it with the rainbow. And I also think that it would be pretty with this one, because we're mixing together those happy bright colors and the ladybug. So let's see, this one I'm going to position it, the ladybug, a little differently and add these flowers. And they just add a nice little bit of sparkle, and there's gems, and they're a lot of fun. So then you would, if you want to alter your paper, you can stamp on it, or you could add stickers to it. I'm going to just open up my bag. And oh, I'm so glad you like the jewels on those, Nancy. Aren't they very pretty? And the sparkly gem florals. So look how pretty this is. And you know, it's made handmade with love. It's also an easy gift wrapping to repurpose. I love to receive a great gift bag and then regift it with something that I create to go inside. So a gift bag like this is really easy to reuse and repurpose. If you have any questions, put them in there. Julia's watching the comments, and I try to catch things coming up on the chat as well. Okay. So you'll have fun with these little rainbow stickers, and your glue stick we'll use for our next project as well. So before I move to our final project, I want to show you another sneak peek that goes along with that World Card Making Day. On World Card Making Day, my friend Cindy and I are hosting a fundraiser for ALS, and to raise awareness and support and funds for ALS research. And Cindy lives in Hawaii. So we're working on our projects jointly from New York to Hawaii. But we're kind of, we have the similar theme and the similar projects. And one of them is this beautiful perpetual beauty calendar. And this is a calendar that has a page for each month, and it has you decorate the top with special stickers, and then you can see it has two lines for every date of the month. So it's called the perpetual calendar because you can use it every year, and you would write birthdays and anniversaries and special dates on each page, and then display that. So when you're making your cards to mail or your Facebook messages to send to people, you've got a handy reminder of those special dates. So this is part of a kit, and the kit includes a stamp set, which I love, which has the months of the year, January through December. So as Cindy and I were planning, we came up with an idea to have a little brag book that would be a year in the life of maybe your grandchild or your pet or your niece. And so these little books I designed as an accordion fold, and these are little mini page protectors. So you could create, for example, you'd turn it, and this would be January. So you'd have a picture of somebody that you took in January, and then a little journaling about what happened that month. So it could be the whole year ahead, 2026, something really fun. And oh, I'm glad you like this idea. Yes, for a birthday book, it would be great to give for the birthday, and then all year round, they could be adding some memories to it. Another way to celebrate a book, to use a book like this, would be if you're somebody who has several children or grandchildren or nieces and nephews, you could have a little spread for each one of them. So I'm going to be making one of these for my mom, who has 8 grandchildren and 4 children. So there's a page for each of us to have a little something special inside that book. If you're interested in making something like this book at our library time, I would love to have that be something that we include in a future class, because I love to make books in boxes, and it's really fun. So yeah, it's perfect for the photos, the little 3x3 square photos, and then some journaling space as well. So these are part of our World Card Making Day event. Raising funds for ALS. So you can reach out with me if you have questions about that. But I would also love to know if making books like this would be of interest either during our Zoom time together or one of our Let's Kit Together classes. So I'm going to leave this out for a minute because I'm going to tell you about our next card. This is called a split landscape card. And I'll put a photo of these dimensions in the comments once we're on YouTube and on Facebook. This is some simple measuring and scoring to make a card that has what's called a split landscape. So this piece of designer series paper, this particular pack comes in 6 by 6 inch squares. And so what we've done is taken a piece that measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then we've split off an inch from each end so that it makes the split landscape. So the writing or the journaling or the sentiment inside is like a special flip up. So here's one that has a beautiful pastoral scene. I love this, and kind of reminds me of sort of a sunset color sky. And so the measurements are, you start with a piece of paper, and then you cut just an inch from each end, and it looks obviously like a continual piece. So a trick for that, let's say you pretend this is a piece of paper and you want to cut your piece so that the focal point is in the middle of the card, and then you'll have some strips on the edge, right? So you kind of want to move, decide where it's going to go on the paper. Generally, the paper is larger than this. So I've made a template using some acetate. And so if you're a quilter, you know about fussy cutting, and a lot of quilt references tonight with our gift bag, and then also with the fussy cutting. But if you were going to make, let's say, an I Spy quilt that had like a dinosaur and a cactus and a horse and flower fabric, that you wanted to just take a piece of a large piece of fabric, something like a template like this would help you kind of say, where do I want to feature it? So if this were my paper, I really love this foil, and I would want a lot of that foil to be in my piece. And that way I could cut just the right size piece, because I used this template as a little cheater. Okay, let me set that aside. And this is the kit you'll find in your bag that has, I set mine aside, so I'll find it for us here. That has the paper inside and a little bit of string. Let's see where my other one went. Here it is. I'm gonna do the one that's blue. You'll either have a pecan pie base, which is this warm brown color, or you'll have mossy meadow, which is a beautiful green color, or you'll have this blue called pretty peacock. Okay, so it'll have the same vanilla envelope, but you'll have different pieces inside to play with. And this is a fun assembly card. I've done the hard part of the cutting for you, so you just get to do some gluing tonight. And we're going to build from the bottom up of our card. And because this little flap, this card has a narrow flap that we have to tuck behind that base. So the two pieces I'd like you to find first are the heavier weight cardstock. They're either going to be Pretty Peacock, Pecan Pie, or Mossy Meadow. Aren't those lovely colors all together for fall time?
Yep,
That's
you might want to
beautiful.
wait, make sure everybody double checks because there was still a little piece inside my envelope.
Oh, yes, you'll have this little piece. And this is a strip for our sentiment background. Do you see how I layered it, made it look like a ribbon?
Mhm.
And so I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do that when we embellish at the end.
And that was still
So
hiding in there.
yeah, so you'll want to find that as well, sort of set that aside. But the things you need first are the vanilla paper. That's the largest piece in your kit. That's the 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then we have our matte piece that's going to be the solid color. And you'll notice the smaller rectangle has a score line. So locate that score line. It's a 1/2 inch from one end. This piece measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and it's scored at 4 inches. So we just have this little flap piece. And before we glue it down, we want to have that be anchored behind the big piece so that it can flip up. Okay. So let's start by adhering that to the back. I'm just going to put glue only on the little flap part right now so that I can then anchor it behind the larger piece. Now, if you have a piece of grid paper, this is very helpful to center things. So you kind of center your paper on there, if you like this trick. Let's see if I can do that. And then I'm using this line here to be my center line. I could even count the blocks across. It's hard to see on camera, so it's a little bit trickier, but you know I'm not a precision crafter. I just like to play, so I don't worry too much about the precision. But if you want to, you can measure so that this distance is equivalent to this, if that matters to you, okay? Basically, you just want the flap to be flipping up in the center. Then we can take and put adhesive on the whole back of the large rectangle. And again, this glue stick is a great adhesive, but it does dry pretty quickly and doesn't give you a lot of time to, without it sort of drying out. You want to make sure you get it over to the thing you're gripping and put pressure on pretty quickly. Otherwise, you'll need to take it off and put more glue on because the glue dries quite quickly. So just give it some love here. You're going to smush it down. And then we're ready to put the other pieces on. So we have two, it's like a puzzle. You'll lay it out so that the pieces line up properly. Now with these designs, it's really, if I had it like this, it probably wouldn't look that weird. But do you see how the tree isn't connecting here? And so it's the paper was cut this way so that the line of the landscape line goes all the way across. There's another name for that, the horizon line, okay? So once you have your puzzle laid out, and yours is going to be, might be different from mine, right? You might have a meadow scene or a floral bouquet here. They're also very pretty. Lay it out like a puzzle, and then we can glue them on. Let's start with that big middle piece. This paper is called Gallery Blooms, and each one of them is ready just to be framed on your wall. They're so, so very pretty. And they're pretty eclectic patterns. They aren't all the same kind of style of art. There, that's pretty just like that, isn't it? But we're going to create the split landscape card by now adding our little inch strips to the ends. I'm going to leave just a tiny narrow border. You'll see at the top and the bottom and the left side, just a little hint of that blue all the way around, or whatever your color is. It might be pecan or mossy meadow or peacock. And we can put the other one there. And then we'll have a perfect center spot to add our piece of vanilla cardstock. And I like having the vanilla inside here so that it's going to be easier to read my sentiment or whatever I write. It will show up much better with this. If you're ever working with a card base that doesn't have a lighter tone in it, you can use a white gel pen. That's kind of fun if you have that in your collection. Those are readily accessible at office supply and craft stores. That's a fun tool for your craft box, or just put a piece of copy paper inside. It doesn't always have to be the heavier weight paper. When you see that it's hard to write on a dark color, you can just have a piece of scrap copy paper inside. And what many of us have done over the years is add a piece of copy paper inside that's not glued down all the way. And then the person who receives it could reuse the card to send to somebody else. They would take out that piece of copy paper that's not anchored very well and then put their own inside. I personally love to keep cards. I love cards that have a lot of handwriting in them. So I'm less likely to repurpose a card if there's a lot of lovely handwriting inside. But sometimes if I've given a beautiful card and I could either put a new piece of paper inside or take out the piece, and you know what I mean, then I might re-gift it because it's such a beautiful one. I want someone else to get to enjoy it. How do you stand on that? Do you tend to re-gift items that are very special, or keep them treasured. Again, if it's got a lot of special messages with the personal handwriting in it, I'm going to keep it like 99% of the time. But when it's one that's just a lovely, beautiful piece of art that I can then share with somebody else to enjoy. How about you, Julia?
I think it's some of each. Um,
Yeah,
I sometimes
definitely.
I like to keep something out where I can see it, like on the refrigerator or something.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely. And or on your dresser top or at the kitchen near my kitchen sink, I like to have favorite special things. So yes, that's a good point too. It doesn't there aren't really rules about that, but I do encourage you to mail the cards that you make. So the cards that you make when we're together at the Zoom or at the library, let's get together. I hope you are excited to make, but also then happy to gift to someone. And if you like it, you could take a picture and then you'll have the picture on your phone of what you
good
made.
idea.
But I love for people when we're together for you to say, "Oh, this is the perfect card to send to my neighbor or my church friend or my cousin or my granddaughter, whatever somebody who's on your heart." It's great to be able to mail that hug in the mail. Okay, so now we're going to finish up with a little bit of stamping and embellishing for this card. I love the sentiment, let's see, that says, "Thank you," and then "You made my whole day." I think that's kind of a fun greeting. I'm going to make this card be that one. "Thank you," and then "You made my whole day." So this is for when you see somebody at the grocery store who you haven't seen for a while and they get to visit with you, or you meet a new friend at the grocery store and they made your day. Think about somebody that you would want to pass on. I'm going to use my paper snips to carefully poke out the little chads from this die cut. In preparing for this class, I made a lot of these little circles, and sometimes those little pieces pop out very easily when you're die cutting. Other times they kind of hang in there. So it's likely you'll need to just poke out a few of those little doily pieces, or you might have one that's this pattern. It's almost like a Morse code pattern, the dash dot all the way around. Okay. So
I'm discovering
let's,
that I'm a little bit of a mess when it comes to the glue sticks.
oh yeah, that is kind of a hazard because to get enough pressure on it, sometimes it spills around the outside. When that happens to me, I like to wind it down and then like kind of do on my scrap paper, wipe off any extra that's there.
Uh-huh.
And then I can wind it back up. But yes, these are it's a great adhesive for just quick things to do. Um, it doesn't have the same, like, well, you may notice this project that I made with the glue stick, it has a different kind of like almost crispness to it from the glue being in there. Whereas a card that I make with my snail tape runners or Terran tape typically don't have that. So it's not a high end. It's a more economical glue, but I think for many things we make, it's very acceptable. But it does give a different kind of stiffness maybe than other glues do.
So let me ask for some advice. I just
Sure.
accidentally put the picture on upside down. So
Okay.
it came out like this, where it lifts.
Yeah. What would it look like if it were, if you turn it this way and then this flips down and then the message is going to be stamped that way? So if you flip it, turn it
Oh, I
upside
see.
down, yeah. And then the card itself opens
Oh,
this way.
okay.
And then what all that matters is that what you write in here is the way you want to write it. Now, they
Okay.
wouldn't be able to like put it on the dressers easily because it would flap open, but they could put a magnet on it or pin it up somewhere.
Right.
And that also, this is when this happens, I call this a happy accident, Julia, because now you have a cool place to like stick a gift card or put a photo because you're
Right.
kind of showcasing the two, it's kind of like a ta-da kind of card
Yeah.
in a different way than the flip up is.
Do you have like a
So,
little Velcro dot or something that I could
yes, that would work very
Velcro dot up
nicely
there
so that
and
it would keep
take
it.
those?
That's a great idea. Yep.
And then if I put
I think
something
that's
on the
fun.
front that makes it clear, it goes this way.
Exactly. Whatever
I could
you
have,
put your as
yeah.
your orientation on the front and on what you write on the inside. I like that. I think that's a whole new you've created a whole new fun fold for us. That's fabulous.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp my my thank you and my for you. And I have a pretty peacock pad right here. Yeah, Lisa thinks that's cool too. I agree. It's fun to create new folds, new ways of doing things. So this is going to say thank you. And then on the inside, it's going to say you made my whole day. So I'm going to ink up and I'm just going to practice it over on my scrap paper to make sure when I open up an ink pad I haven't used for a bit, I just want to make sure I walk my stamp across and then I have it down and up to make sure I'm getting a full impression. Okay, so here's my little circle. The thank you is a tight fit. The for you actually works a little bit better, but I like this card. I want to be a thank you card. So I'm going to put thank you. And there's that beautiful, pretty peacock that matches. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the stamp that says, you made my whole day. Another one I love is the expression, you made my whole face smile. I love that one. But this one's going to say, you made my whole day. So once again, I'm placing it down on the grid paper so that I'm not distorting the photopolymer when I pull it. And then I can push it down and I know it's got a nice straight spot here. We'll go ahead and stamp, you made my whole day right inside. Ta-da. Okay. So that's enough of our ink. And now we're going to decide how we want to position our greeting. Now, there's no rules here. You can have it go all the way across. I could leave it hanging and have it overlap a little bit like this. I could make it a banner and have just a little bit of the banner sticking over. For my samples, I cut one end like a swallowtail there to make a banner edge. And then I just cut straight here. Okay. I did the same on this one. This one, I had it go all the way across, but I cut it before, so it's not hanging over. It's just all the way across. And there was one more, I thought, this one. This one I cut just at a diagonal instead of a V swallowtail shape. I cut just the straight diagonal. So this one, let's see. This one, I've got lots of nice space in the sky for my greeting. You could put it down here, but it's going to cover up that sailboat. And I want people to see that boat. So I know I want to put it up here. And now I can just decide how much of this pretty peacock I want to be there. And I think I'm going to do it so it's got a banner on both ends. Now there's a few different ways to do a banner end cut. One way is to snip in from the middle, the end to in the middle a little bit, and then connect from the corner to the middle at each end. My fingers were probably in the way there, but that's going to make a pretty even swallowtail because my both edges were going to the same place. Usually I just wing it, surprise, surprise, and just cut in from the edge to the middle and turn and then cut out this way. So you can practice on a piece of scrap paper that you have, a strip of paper, just kind of practice doing that. There's no one right or wrong way to do that. We also sometimes can use a punch if you have different punches can be used to create the ends of a banner like this. Okay, so that's nice. It's just going to be a little hint of the peacock sticking out on both sides of my banner. So I'm going to secure the strip with glue stick first. Not quite centered here. I'm choosing to put mine more to the left. Again, that's your personal preference. Because this beautiful landscape kind of climbs up toward the right, I'm going to have my embellishment be a little more to the left. But again, you get to be the designer and your paper is different from mine. You might have this pretty meadow or this street scene. This makes me think of London. I think it really probably could be a lot of different cities. It could be Washington, D.C. It's like a Capitol building here.
Anywhere in upstate New York, I tell you.
You're right. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this piece next. And you know, I often like to make what I call nests out of twine. So to do this, I wrap around 3 or 4 fingers, I wrap my twine, and then it's going to overlap those little tails here. And it's kind of a little nest. If you twist it once, you have like an infinity loop, and that works very nicely for this particular shape. It gives just enough a hint of those loops without it being too wily here, too out of control. Okay. So I'm going to do that again for you in case you like that. But before I do, I'll put some adhesives dimensionals on the back of this triangle or this circle, because the circle, the adhesive now is going to help stick the twine and the circle to my card base. So I take my fingers and I have 4 fingers tight, not tightly, but pushed together. And then my thumb is just holding the tail down, and then I can wrap it around. And then when I get to the end, you see it's like a lasso, right? Can you see that okay with that
Yeah.
color? Yeah. So you kind of have tails. I'm going to turn it so it's like an infinity loop, infinity
Figure
symbol.
eight. Yeah.
Figure eight, yes. And now I can take off those little uh, backings from the dimensional and stick this right on top of the threads. And that's going to help keep it. I can still fuss it a little bit and pull them apart. I like there to be a little bit of asymmetry. I don't want it to be just the same on all the sides. So I'm fiddling it a little bit, and then I can put it down on my card. So sometimes you have to add more glue if depending on how much twine it is and how thick it gets. But I thought that these artworks, that the texture of the twine complements it nicely. When we think about what embellishment we want to add to a card, we don't want it to look out of place. Like, I think something really glimmery, in my opinion, wouldn't fit as well on this paper. Now, I do love bling and I love sparkly gems, but this paper is kind of more muted, more natural. And so I thought that as an embellishment, that natural twine would feel good here. That's a very personal preference. So you can bling these up as much as you like. But I did feel that they're a more muted pattern of the paintings. And so I still wanted some texture, but not really sparkly texture.
I have a
Okay.
question because, I
Uh-huh.
had the thing upside down like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yep.
trying to figure out where I could put the thing. And then
Okay.
it occurred to me, I could put it on top as a little clue
Yes, it's a little
as they're
flap to
coming.
pull down.
Exactly, so that people
Julia, that's
can see them.
brilliant.
And I wasn't
That's
sure because it looks okay.
it does, and it signifies sort
I
of a pull. You don't have to write it, pull me, but it kind of signifies pull here or move here, doesn't it?
right, and I tried to
Yeah.
figure out if putting the brown strip behind it
Uh-huh.
makes it better or worse. Let's see, I gotta move back a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but it wouldn't harm either because it's just pulling more of that pretty pecan into the
Yeah.
scene. Yeah. That looks great. It looks almost like an arch there above the flowers, and then it'll be a fun, interactive card for someone to pull down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, very good. And then when you write or stamp inside, you would have it so that it's on, the white, and then
Right. Yeah.
that'll be really cool. Oh, I love it. Now it won't fit in the envelope that way. That's the only downside, but you could use your envelope for another project and have this card be a hand deliver card or
Mhm.
or a larger envelope. That's the only thing.
Right.
When we go outside of that 5.5 by 4.25, we'd have to fold it to fit into the envelope.
Right.
Okay, so let's bring back our projects. We have our fun gift bags here and our beautiful split landscape cards. I'll put the directions there too. You could even zoom in on and get a screenshot, but I will also add them to the comments. And then let's see, where's our other little floral card? Let me find that. It's hiding. Here it is. That we started with tonight. This just simple, sweet um, gift. I think it would be lovely to have with a plate of cookies or a little love note at the office or something. It's sweet. All right. If you have any questions, I hope you'll ask them. Questions help me learn things, so I always welcome questions. And Julia and I do enjoy requests. We like when you let us know something that you're interested in learning. So if you see something on Pinterest or on in your mailbox that you're curious about trying to recreate, that's a fun challenge for me. So we appreciate you, those of you who are picking up your kits each month. And with that $5 donation, it allows me to kind of keep pulling together some fun treasure hunt items for you each month with that suggested donation. If you're just finding us and watching without the kit, I hope you'll find the projects inspiring and as good jump off places, kind of a Monday mojo for you on a Thursday night to get creative with supplies you have at home. Julia, again, I thank you always for your tech support and your encouragement always. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the month in September. And we'll look forward to celebrating a little bit of spooky fun in our October kit.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia. Good night, everyone.
Good night and thank you.
My pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you.